The Shadows of Asherton Campaign Part 1. The Danger at Dunland. Chapter 1. In the realm of fate, the sagacious often whisper that coincidence is but an illusion, a mere shadow cast by the hands of destiny. Nothing occurs without purpose. Every event is a deliberate stroke upon the grand tapestry of life, woven long before we even take our first breath. Salves the sorcerer to Tithra before her execution. At the behest of Cardolan, Ecris, both you and Nox forsook the village of Eldinmore. By nightfall, you found yourselves in Farstead, where you stepped aboard the King's Discipline, a ship bound for the bustling city of Dunland. Hours prior, on those same desolate docks, you, Seeker Zythal, awaited their arrival, told to expect 2 travellers of significant import, one human, the other a spectre of uncertainty. Yet fate had other plans, for it would not be you who met them. It would not be you who guided Ecris and Nox onto the ship. No. Instead, you had become a reluctant escort to another, an unknown human who had greased Captain Verkis's palm with a tidy sum for passage. Though this newcomer bore the scent of trouble, the captain's affection for coin outweighed any whisper of caution or common sense. Thus he granted this stranger passage, albeit with a stern condition. He was to remain confined to quarters, specifically your quarters, the mate's quarters, where you had suffered the bitter pangs of seasickness, lost in a haze of retching and despair for the 2 long nights it had taken to reach Farstead. But fortune smiled upon you on the return to Dunland. Oh, sweet fruit of Caravagal! It turned out the stranger bore the same affliction, yet he had come prepared. He had offered you one of the fruits to spare yourself from the torment of retching and purging over the 2-day journey. All that it required was a single, unassuming task: to ascend to the deck and ensure that a certain dapper young man had safely boarded. You accepted the bargain without hesitance, for no shadow of doubt clouded your conscience. After all, what peril could there be in merely observing this Ecris fellow and reporting back that all was well, when the stakes were so low and the promise of relief was so enticing? You did not glimpse Nox, the mysterious companion of Ecris, though his gaze wandered occasionally to the door that led to the shadowy depths below deck, as if looking for someone to emerge. The stranger had never even whispered her name, and you couldn't discern whether she was aboard, for you had not laid eyes upon her. Yet, unbeknownst to you, she was indeed present, shrouded in the gloom below, locked away in her quarters. Like you, Seeker Zythal, she was afflicted, not with the nausea of the open sea, but with a more insidious ailment. The shadows stir. The dark gods draw near. Even now, Nox, days have slipped by, yet you still can't escape that gnawing sensation. The dream lingers, haunting, like a shadow that refuses to fade. The wicked figure of that malignant man, with his twisted and grotesque visage, remains seared into your mind. And while you fear that man, it is the ominous, malevolent force that shadows him which truly haunts you. It is death. It is the end for everyone. You are prey in a world where predators lie in wait, all part of a sinister destiny that pulls you along like a dead leaf swept away by a relentless current. And there was Mira, sweet and loving Mira, an apparition from a forgotten time. You hadn't seen her in ages, yet she stood beside you in the dream before the world unraveled and calamity swallowed everything whole. Mira. You awoke and dashed to the deck, the chill of the night biting at your skin, and expelled your insides in a violent heave over the side. Your body desperate to rid itself of the darkness that had woven into your very soul. When it was over, you returned below, escorted by Ikris. Ever the guardian, he had concernedly followed you topside. You both returned to your respective bunks, and he found sleep soon afterwards. But for you, that night remained a pained one. Dawn brought no relief. You remained ensnared, both in body and spirit. Not only trapped within the haunting dream that still clawed at your mind, but in your quarters as well. The ship's healer had locked you in for poxwatch, leaving you to rot in isolation. Ikris, having been ordered to work on decks by the bosun that morning, was lost to you. Thus, you languished alone, your only distraction a battered leather book you'd found wedged beneath a loose board. A book you were far too troubled to even contemplate opening. The day dragged on, endless and suffocating, and when night came once again, sleep finally claimed you. It was a deep and dreamless void this time, and when morning light eventually filtered through the gloom of your confinement, and you awoke free of the pox, the ship's healer granted your release. With relief, you left your sanctuary and found Ikris upon the main deck. The rhythm of the ship's journey beckoned you back to a semblance of normalcy, even as shadows still clung to the edges of your thoughts. And thus appeared the prisoner, little Lord Valian Ellershaw, condemned to traverse the slippery plank for the audacity of honorably fulfilling contracts belonging to the dead. The day's amusement had arrived, and you, Ikris, alongside Nox, had fully embraced the debauchery, indulging in more than a few ales as the ship drew near to Dunland, and your odyssey neared its end. Oh, and it was an entertaining affair indeed. Valian Ellershaw, this cunning little devil, succeeded not only in claiming his prize, but cementing it with a fiery kiss to his warder. An enormous, green-skinned brute that looked capable of tearing him in two. And the coup de grace of the entire affair was his less than graceful maneuver of escape, a maneuver that sent the poor green creature sprawling as Valian collapsed on top of him. Amidst the raucous merriment, you, Ikris, caught sight of Seeker Zythor. He was hard to miss amongst the chaos, the only other human amidst the crew, seemingly untouched by the wild antics swirling around him. His gaze was locked entirely upon you. When your eyes met, he endeavored to slip away unnoticed, but you and Nox had already scoped the area around the mainmast and uncovered his hiding place. When pressed, it became clear that his presence was for your sake. More inquiries followed, revealing that he served Brobane's Castamires. Yes, Ikris, the Brobane's Castamires, second in command to the noble house Emi, who at that very moment was aboard this ship, lurking below deck, sharing a cabin with this seeker Zythor. At your insistence, Zythor escorted you and Nox to the mate's cabin, only to discover that Castamires had departed. Regardless, it was evident, Ikris, that your father had foreseen your voyage aboard the King's Discipline, and that was an ill omen indeed. Stepping off the king's discipline upon arrival, cloaked in your disguises, you found yourself amidst a throng on the bustling pier, where a familiar figure awaited you. Cardelin, the raven-cloaked. He addressed you both first, Nox and Icris.
Oh, by Shell Diobri, this day is more splendid than I dared hope. My Lady Nox, you've graciously accepted my invitation, escorted by your stalwart companion, the noble Icris, and you.
His gaze shifted to you, Valian, a knowing smile spreading across his face.
Your contracts are fulfilled, and your share of the bounty awaits with the Assai Master at Iam. The king's discipline shall be regrettably free from the likes of little Lord Elishor for a good while. A sad day indeed. Finally, he turned to you, Seeker Zythal, and his demeanour shifted, adopting a more solemn tone. It has indeed been far too long, Seeker Zythal. I can only imagine the treasures you've unearthed during your tenure at Echo Tower, and the grander discoveries that lie ahead.
Then, with a slight nod of his head, the smile returned to his lips as he directed his focus to Captain Vergis.
Now, my esteemed captain, let us not delay our purpose any longer. Aboard we go!
Amidst the towering spires and the winding alleys of Dunland, the air crackles with life and anticipation. Its streets thrum with the footsteps of countless souls, while jagged edifices loom above, bearing witness to the fervour that defines this city. The marketplaces echo with the clamour of merchants hawking their wares, and the raucous taverns hum with the tales of adventurers and the clinking of tankards. All this and more awaits your arrival from the docks, calling you into its vibrant embrace. The city awaits.